Well, hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dave Beaver, Pastor Dave Beaver to some of you, half hood, half holy. You know how we roll. But listen, tonight, welcome to another live episode of Grappling with Life. And I tell everybody, we do it live, man. I don't want no studio. I like it live, man. I like it raw. I like it real. People recognize real, right? Real recognizes real. So tonight, I just want to say, if you've never watched Grappling with Life, last night I had Emilio Hernandez on. And this show is all about helping people hear amazing stories, right? Whether they're pro athletes, whether there's practitioners, whether people trying to lose weight, get in shape, and they're using mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu as a significant way to improve their life. That's cool. But here's what I know. Even if you're not doing jiu-jitsu or martial arts, every single human being I know, if you're not dead, you're not done. That means you're grappling with life. That's why I love this show, because every person I know is grappling with something: career choices, relationship choices, financial choices, right? You are in this grapple with something in your life. So I love having people come on, tell their stories, share their stories. And I believe that these stories from real people will help inspire real people like you, whether you catch it live or you catch it later. I'm so glad to have you join tonight. Hey, so tonight, without further ado, we're going to be joined by Jason the Juggernaut Riley. He is a pro MMA fighter. He is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. And Jason, what's up, my man? How are you tonight?
How are you, brother? It's nice to be on the show. Been watching you for a while now. Got some training in with you not too long ago. It's always a good time.
Yes, you did. We're not going to talk about that training session. Actually, we're going to talk about that training session right now. Jason, you how tall are you, Jason? How what is your height?
6'5". 6'5".
6'5". Jason is a juggernaut. He is a man's man. And I thought I was doing good. I passed Jason's guard. I went to north-south. I was like, I'm in a good position. The next thing I know, I get thrown in the air. Listen, I can still hear Professor Brett Boggs' laughter, and I can see his face as I get thrown in the air and get my back taken like a small child. And it was amazing.
So when you went north south, I was waiting to do it. That's why I put one hand on one thigh, and when you circled and I got the other hand on the other thigh, I just threw you over top of me.
It was horrible. I was like, oh, I'm in a good position. Jason just gave up north south. No matter how big you are, hey, if you can't breathe, you can't breathe. And then all of a sudden, man, I went for a ride. I mean, people pay good money at Cedar Point to go on a ride like that, my man. And then I got choked.
But the greatest part about what happened was, after I did it, I thought we were going to keep rolling. You literally stopped and looked at Brett and go, he just threw me across the room.
Yeah, I may have cussed. Everyone out there, let's be real. I may have said something like, what the F just happened to me? That is ridiculous. I have never, ever in my life been thrown like that by any other human being.
I've never seen Brett laugh so hard.
Yeah, I know. It's embarrassing. I just want you to know, Jason, I almost quit jiu-jitsu that day. Like, I almost just turned my stuff in, and I almost left and went and did karate. Like, oh, I'm doing karate now. Here I go. No, I'm just joking. That was awesome. That was awesome. Hey, so Jason, as we get going here tonight, man, and we'll have some more talks about MMA and jiu-jitsu, but I always like to ask this question to anyone who comes on here. Who is Jason Riley? Like, where do you come from? What was life like for you growing up? Where'd you grow up? And give people a chance to get to know who you are and where you come from.
So when I was a kid, I moved around a lot. Not a whole lot. I'd say, I lived on the west side of Columbus most of my life. And then we ended up moving to London, Ohio. And then I was at 3 different high schools in 4 years. So I like to call myself a mutt from a lot of different places. Like, I've got to see a lot of different cultures, different styles of life. And I'm thankful for it. I mean, my childhood wasn't always good. I mean, there's good, the bad, and the ugly, but it made me who I am. So I'm thankful for everything that's happened, good, bad, and indifferent. Yeah. It just made me who I am. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Do you have any brothers or sisters growing up? What was that like?
I did have a brother. He passed away early this year due to heroin addiction. Was addicted for probably 15 years.
Wow.
It's something that I don't really like to talk about, but it's just one of those things where you have difference of opinion on people's addiction. Like I'm not one of those people that think, I mean, I'll just say it, that you have a choice.
Sure.
You chose that path.
Yep. Sure.
And everybody makes their own decisions. So I'm a firm believer in if you make a decision, you stick with it. If you want to quit, you quit. And I know it's harder for some people to get off that path. Sure. And my brother was one of them. Like he was homeless for 5 years. Like not to get into this, but I helped my brother get sober 3 times. And every time he stole from me, stole from my kids, stole from my parents. Like, I don't want to talk bad about him. Because in all actuality, before the heroin, my brother was a fucking great dude. Sorry about the cussing.
No,
he was a great dude. He was good to his kids. And then once he got a hold of him, like, he didn't care about nothing but how to get his next fix. And it was pretty sad to watch.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And not to bring up a sore subject, but it's a very tough topic. And you're exactly right. You know, being someone who has helped and dealt with and worked with a lot of people overcoming addiction, there's a lot of losses. The wins, we celebrate the wins when they happen, but you're exactly right, man. There's a lot of choices that are made. And I'm sorry for your loss, obviously for your family, but, man, I know you personally, Jason, outside. And so I know you are the kind of guy that will take the shirt off your back and give to somebody in need.
Oh, yeah.
And you go out of your way to make sure to help people. So,
that's just who I am in a roundabout way. Like I do it with my family, my friends, and even people I don't know. I'm also one of those guys that I do things behind the scenes for a lot of people, and I don't talk about it because I'm a firm believer in I don't need to videotape my good deeds and post them online for everybody to see, for everybody to praise me. I believe if you just do good things for good people and for people that are in stress, good things come back to you. Like I'm a firm believer in good karma, and I believe what you put out into the world will come back to you tenfold. And I don't even do it for that. I just do it because it's the right thing to do. Yeah,
that's what I've always loved about you, man. You're right. You do reap what you sow, and motive matters. You know, you're doing it for the right reason, not for the return on investment, but it's the right thing to do. Man, I love that. So, Jason, growing up, man, did you play any other sports, man? I mean, you're 6'5", you're kind of a man's man. Did you play football? Did you wrestle?
No. So the school I went to down in Florida, they didn't have wrestling. Florida's not big on wrestling. They're big on football and basketball. So I graduated from Mainland High School. I played with a lot of athletes that actually went to the NBA. Like one of them that everybody should know is Vince Carter. I played ball with Vince Carter, Tony Bobbitt, played for the Lakers. I mean, we had a stacked basketball team, and football. I played football. And then after I graduated high school, I actually went to go play football at Kentucky. Things didn't work out, so I left.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this. Obviously, so and we're going to talk about your family too, man. I know you're a huge family man. You're super proud of your wife. You're super proud of your kids. We're going to get to that. So before you get there's a point in time in your life, man, where you're kind of you've moved around a lot. You know, you've played basketball. I mean, you've played football. You played with some great athletes. At some point in your life, you find martial arts. When did you find martial arts, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, grappling? Let's talk about that a little bit.
So what was crazy about this journey in MMA is I watched which fight was it? It was a UFC fight. It was one of the earliest ones. It was when I think it was what's his name? Emmanuel. Anyway, it was the big, everybody remembers this fight. It was the big, heavy dude, black dude. And he fought the little white dude. He got elbowed in the mouth, and the slow-mo, the tooth just blew out and outside the cage.
Yep.
Ever since then, I was hooked on MMA, or back then UFC, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend of mine who I call Brother Frankie was like, hey, they just opened up a gym in London, Ohio, which is where I was from too. And I started training MMA. And it was just a small group of guys. I think one guy used to train the trainer himself. I don't remember his name, but he fought like way back when before there was rules and you want a free T-shirt or this was the time when they used to call people out of the crowd. Hey, we'll give you $50 if you come down here and fight.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the era of you fight anybody. It didn't matter who you were. You step in, you fight. But I got into it. I trained for a week and ended up taking my first fight on 2 weeks training. And I believe it was on Scott Nagel show. You remember Scott Nagel?
Yeah.
So it was on a Scott Nagel show.
Wow.
He set me up with a guy who was a Marion police officer. His name was Corey Blankenship, I believe. Corey, if you're watching, I hope you're okay after that fight and years later. So the crazy part about that first experience was never had a fight. I mean, I fought as a child, but never had a fight in a cage, stepped in. Before that, my brother Frankie had a match. And back then they didn't have fighters could go fight in other states and not register.
Yeah.
Like Ohio was one of the few states where they actually registered fighters and knew who you were fighting. You knew he fought. Well, this dude he fought was from Indiana. Nobody knew he fought 8 pro fights and he was fighting on an amateur card.
Yeah, right.
First fight for my brother Frankie ends up just getting demolished by this guy, which threw me in a fit of rage. Well, let's just say I took it out on this guy. Ended up fighting him. Pretty much hammer fisted the whole center of his face. He had to have emergency surgery. Scott Nagel said afterwards, he's like, I've never seen a human being hit somebody so hard that it feels like his head's going through the cage.
Right.
After that, I was just like completely hooked to MMA. And I figured, you know what? I'm athletic. I can move like a lightweight. And I'm going to see how far this will take me. Like, I want to provide a life for my family that I never had. So everything in my life has always been about what I can do to give my wife and my kids a better life than I ever had growing up.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was my reason. My family is always my reason for everything that I do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great, man. And you fought for how long? How long did you fight professionally in them? So how long? Well, let's go this. How many amateur fights did you have before you flipped the switch and went?
So I had 6 amateur fights, and I fought them all within, I want to say 3 or 4 months.
Jeez. Okay.
I fought 6 times, and I actually went. It doesn't show it online, but I actually went 5-1 as an amateur. And my one loss as an amateur, I actually ended up requesting fighting that guy my first pro fight.
Gotcha.
And I ended up knocking him out in like a minute and 30 some seconds. He was a Greco wrestler, real dude. His name was Braden. I still remember it to this day. I made a mistake and he capitalized on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's what's crazy. So you were during the MMA time where it was kind of like it was still framing, still shaping, and there were less rules. Call a guy out of the crowd. I mean,
yeah.
Wild.
I call it. Here's what I call it. I call it when men had to be men.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you didn't get fish bowls and you didn't call out the easiest fight, and no, you fought the tough dudes. I mean, hell, my 6th pro fight, I fought Tim Sylvia.
Right.
Like they said, "Hey, you want to fight?" And I said, "Yeah, let's fight." Like everybody was down to fight back then. Now,
agreed.
not the. I just can't. I can't even stand watching it anymore because it just feels like everybody's trying to find the easiest fight. And I get it as a business standpoint.
Sure. Yeah.
You want to get as many wins as you possible and then take your tough fights in the UFC. But if you never take a tough fight before then, how do you know how to perform? Like, how do you know what you're going to do under pressure if you just keep knocking dudes out in less than a minute?
No, that's exactly right. And you are right. Like, I do all the pay-per-view, call a bunch of fights, pro-Ami fights. And I do see there's differences in these athletes, right? Some guys are looking like, oh yeah, I'm 11-1, I'm 15-1 as an amateur. But then you look at the guys that are fighting, I'm like, well, there's a reason you're fighting in Kentucky, West Virginia, all over the map. And then they get their shot, if you will, right? And they don't perform well.
So I had a conversation with a promoter one time who asked me to fight on his card. And I asked him, I was like, well, how do you base your pay on the guy that you're having come in fight? And he said, usually I go and I look at their win record versus loss record on guys they fight. Mm-hmm. To give you a perspective on, I was 18-8 as a pro. My wins, the guys that I fought versus their losses, it was 248 wins to 37 losses, if that gives you an idea the caliber of guys I was fighting versus some of the caliber of guys that are fighting now.
That's right.
It was somewhere around there. I could be off by a few numbers, but he was like, dude, I couldn't even afford to pay you.
Right. And so that's the thing. Like MMA now is definitely different. There's more prestige in kind of the business, the savviness, the kind of taking fights that make sense.
Yeah, for me, it's turned more into the entertainment business where it's more like a mix between UFC and the WWE.
Agreed.
Like they want the loudmouth guys to bring in paper, and I get it; it's a business. I just grew up in a different era where it was more about the fight rather than the trash talk.
Yeah, and I know a guy, and I won't mention his name right now, just for his sake and promotion's sake. But I know a guy right now that's, dude, he's a great fighter, and he'll get a fight and they back out, get a fight, they back out, get a fight,
happens.
back out, get a fight, back out. What happens is they're like, oh, I'll fight, and then they watch him fight. They go and check him out, and they go, not fighting that guy. It's bad.
That's because they want an easy fight.
Yeah, it's bad for business.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
even at my age now, I get excited. Like, I do security work and bodyguard work. And like, I've been here, last summer, I got jumped by 5 people.
Yeah.
It didn't go very well for them whatsoever.
Yeah, that's right. Like I said, well, Jason, we won't mention where. We'll keep our secrets our secret. But I have been on scene at some places that you were working security. And there were some people that, man, they didn't realize how big the bull was. They tried to ride. And they might have been some rodeos, but they never been in that rodeo. So I'll just leave it at that. So,
but I'm not. But here's the thing, though. I'm not the guy that goes and looks for that stuff either.
No,
I'm actually the guy.
Yeah,
I'm actually the opposite. Like a guy tells me he can whoop my ass. Usually it's, you can beat me up. I get it. You want to be the tough guy in front of your girlfriend, go right on the head. I'm going to walk away. I don't. Contrary to belief, I don't really like conflict. I don't like drama at all. But I'm also that same guy that, if you're going to bring it, you better bring a lot, because pack your lunch, because it's about to get ugly.
That's exactly right. And that's what I've always appreciated about you, knowing you outside of, and just kind of personally in life. Like, you will do the right thing, but you will always do the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is, hey, man, you've asked for this. You forced this to occur.
Yeah.
I tried to give you an easy out, but, here we go. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that people have lost their minds anymore. So
it's a crazy world we live in, that's for sure. Let's talk a little bit about your family, dude. I know that you're a diehard family guy. Like you said earlier, everything you've ever done, Matt's about giving your family a better life than you ever experienced. So just talk about your kids right now. I think your son's got some cool stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk to
that. I have 5 kids total. I have 3 kids with my previous wife, and then my current wife had 2 kids when we got together. I hate the whole stepdad term. It's the stupidest fucking term I've ever heard in my life. No, I'm your dad. You don't have to call me dad, but I view you as my kids when we got together. So everything I do is for them. I have my oldest boy, Christian, who's now 19 and his second year in college. He's actually going to be joining Ohio State football in January. He's already at the school now, but he'll be playing for Ohio State come January as a walk-on. And that boy is just like me. Like, he has a work ethic. He doesn't complain. He just gets stuff done. I mean, I can't say enough good things about that kid. And then I have my son, Leland, who's also an athletic kid. He doesn't like football, but he's a hell of a baseball player. And then my daughter, Channing, is just an all-around athlete. She plays travel volleyball, travel softball, basketball. She does jujitsu with me. Now she's talking about trying out wrestling. Like, she just loves anything that has to do with sports. And then my wife's kids, Tough and Lexi, are just geniuses. Like, they're not the athletic type, but my son Tough can run 2 laptops at the same time, and he wants to be a pilot. Like, he wants to fly planes. Like, they sit upstairs and teach themselves German and Spanish on their own. Like, they just, it's great to have 5 kids and they're all different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's an amazing thing. Like, and then my wife's just a military badass all around. So we kind of complement each other. She was in the military, in the Army. She's done tours. Like, we don't have a problem buying weapons in this house. Let's just say that. My wife's like, no, you're not buying that gun. She's like, what are we buying today?
I can see that, man. And yeah, that's one thing I've always loved about your family oriented. Your kids are great. Jason is actually, I would say, you're a stud athlete, but you're kind of a big teddy bear, right? You want to serve people, love people, take care of them. But if they cross the line, then they get what they get, right?
I would like that term. I like to think myself as a sheepdog.
There you go.
That military term. Like, I can be cordial with anybody. My wife calls me a social butterfly because no matter where I go, I seem to make friends. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy people. It's weird. I have a love-hate relationship with people. I love people, but I hate them at the same time. It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know how else to explain it.
No, I got it, bro. I've been a pastor for 28 years, man. People are like, how can you pastor a church and do MMA and jiu-jitsu? And I'm like, bro, have you ever been to a board meeting? You go to a board meeting in a church, you want to punch some people in the face, man. That's a true story.
Yeah, I don't. I just, I'm just a social butterfly, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy people, but I hate them at the same time. But at the same time, I want the best for everyone.
No, that's right. That's good. That's good. So, Jason, let's talk a little about this, man. So, you're not really new to jiu-jitsu, like, but I would say you're new to the formal path of jiu-jitsu. You've been around jiu-jitsu more than the no-gi MMA scene for a long time.
Yeah.
But not too long ago, you decided to go to Round Town Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Professor Donnie not Freitag.
Worthington.
Donnie Worthington, who is under Dave Freitag as a black belt. And he's doing a great job, man. That gym is killing it. It's growing rapidly.
Oh, yeah. Like, not to cut you off, but Round Town coming in Circleville probably saved my life.
Okay.
Like, Donnie has done an amazing thing with that gym and the community, and it has grown. I think we're averaging. I mean, this gym's only been open for, I think, 8 months. I think we're averaging like 30 to 40 kids a class and 20 to 35 adults a class right now.
It's beautiful.
So it's an amazing thing, man. Donnie's doing an amazing thing down here. Dave Freitag's doing an amazing thing at Grove City. I mean, it's just nice to be around good people.
No, absolutely, man. And I've been down there and I've trained. Dude, I love Phil. I love Donnie. It's a great location. It's a great space. And obviously when you got your blue belt, I was like, God, give that guy a blue belt the day he started, right? Because you're just murdering cats. But let's talk a little bit about you're a high-level competitor, MMA, and now you're on the competition scene of jiu-jitsu. So you're going to be on the card. You were on the a card we did up at Matt Brown's gym in the cage. Yep. That was awesome. And then you're going to be on the card in October 22nd, Twisted Church, pro card, 155-pound tournament, 10 grand to the winner. Super stacked undercard, man. It is a sick night. The Crown Plaza, north up there in Worthington, Ohio. Talk a little bit about your training as you're getting ready for that. What's that look like for you, man? Like you're not new to competition. You've been competing a long time in cage fights. You fought some of the best in the world. Like you fought DC, right? Now you're getting ready for this like hometown, one of the biggest shows ever in the Midwest, East Coast in jiu-jitsu. So let's just talk about that a little bit.
So let me back up. Before I got back into jiu-jitsu, what I would call the jiu-jitsu that I know is, I call it real life jiu-jitsu. And the reason why I call it real life jiu-jitsu is because MMA translates into real world protection. That's what I say. Like sport jiu-jitsu is different than I would say MMA jiu-jitsu, because MMA jiu-jitsu, I think you can use more in the real world, because I promise you, if you invert on me, I'm probably punching you in your face in the real world. But
noted. I've noted that. Don't invert.
But with that, I'm going to tell you a little story, and I think it's important to tell you this story and why I'm in jiu-jitsu now versus when I was fighting and I quit. So I quit fighting. There wasn't nothing in it for me anymore. It was just too hard on my body, and I couldn't train like I needed to fight. So I decided to quit. For 5 years now, I didn't do anything other than lift weights and work. Lifting weights used to do it for me mentally. So I'm not ashamed to admit this. I think it needs said by more men. I was laying in bed with my wife one night, and I started crying. And I told her I just didn't want to fucking be in this world anymore. I didn't want to kill myself. I wasn't thinking about harming myself. I was just like, there's nothing here. I have the greatest wife and the greatest kids, but something was missing. And it was actually my wife who said, why don't you go try jujitsu? They just opened up a gym here in Circleville.
Yep.
So me being the competitor that I am, I researched Donnie. I found out where he got his black belt. I know Dave Freitag. I know where Dave got his black belt. So I knew it wasn't one of those guys who just gave themselves a black belt to open up a school. So I knew Donnie was legit. And then the first class I took with Donnie, it was a no-gi class. I literally came home, told my wife, I said, I'm signing up. Like, I need this in my life. Like, whether I compete or not, I need the mental and physical all at the same time. Where lifting weights was just physical.
Yep.
This is a mentally and physically. And since I've done it, my whole mood has changed. Like, between that and my new diet now, and we can talk about that later if you want.
Yeah.
So now I'm just on this journey for me. Like, I don't care about winning or losing. I don't care about blue belts, purple, brown, black. And even Donnie knows that. I could care less if I ever get my black belt. For me, it's just for my own mental health and mental well-being and just being an all-around better person.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I'm so glad you said that, man. And I was talking with Emilio Hernandez last night. We were talking about the same exact thing. Like, I tell people all the time, man, like, Jesus and jiu-jitsu saved my life. That's true, man. Like, faith and violence are the two most resolved things I know in my life. And very much like you, 5 years ago, dark place, man, just struggling. And I was in a really dark place. And one night, Dave Freitag posted something on social media, and I saw it, and someone flipped the lights on, man. And it changed my life forever. I walked in that gym. I started training. You're exactly right, dude. More men need to talk about it. Like, piss on the stigma. Who cares on the stigma, right?
I think what it is there's been a stigma about men that you're not allowed to talk about your feelings. You're not allowed to feel vulnerable. You're not allowed to do any of that. Like, I'm fortunate enough. Not everybody is fortunate. I'm fortunate enough to have a wife that doesn't judge me, doesn't look at me weird, doesn't nothing. Like, she loves me. Like, she's my person. She's my rock. Like, and she, well, not only jiu-jitsu, but she probably saved my life as well. So I think that it's, in today's society, it's all right, man. It's all right to be a grown-ass man that can kill you but can cry at the same time. Like,
good word.
There's nothing wrong with fucking showing your emotion. Like, and I tell my kids the same thing. If you're having a hard time and you need to talk about it, come talk to me.
Yeah, it's a good word.
You know?
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Dude, I'm so glad you found jiu-jitsu. And I'm glad that you found jiu-jitsu, but a little selfisher. I'm glad you're in the fold, man. I'm glad you're with Donnie, and I'm glad you're with Dave. I'm glad, because we're sister gyms, Vitor Oliveira, Dave Freitag, Donnie Worthington. Those are some killers, bro. Those are like some high-level black belts. They're better men than they are athletes. I've always said that. Like Dave and Donnie, I respect those dudes, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're great leaders in society. They're great leaders in their families. They're great at jiu-jitsu, and they've done a great job leading men like you, men like me, down this path of organized, structured, functional jiu-jitsu, right? And
you know what's crazy is they're humble about it. They don't even realize what an impact they have on the people that they train.
Fact.
I mean, maybe they do know, and they're just super humble people. Like, you know me, Dave. I'm a humble person. Like, I like to bullshit and talk and jibber jab, but I don't care. Like, I'm a humble dude, and I always will be.
Yep. I love it, man. Hey, let's talk about this. You mentioned your new diet. It's something I told you. I text you this week, and I said, hey, I'm going to do it. I said, I'm going to do it Monday. I'm competing on Sunday. I'm not doing anything new. I'm going to keep on my same, deal. But on Monday, I'm going to do it, man. So you sent me some examples of what you're eating on a daily basis. Let's talk about this new diet. Let's talk about how it's worked for you as an athlete and big picture holistically in your life. Let's talk about it.
So it's been a month now. Yeah, I think it's been about a month now that I started this diet. And it was, actually it was a friend of mine that I call brother. His name is Trevor Griffith. He's an ex-Marine who owns, Hall of Heroes in Lancaster. It's a gym. Not to get into his story, but he was having some issues with his health, and, he tried the vegan diet. He tried an all fruit diet. He tried everything on the planet to heal his body. And he started an animal-based diet, which is basically red meat and fruit and sodium, salt on your food, whatever. So I had messaged him and I said, "Hey, bro, I'm having a real hard time with inflammation in my joints. Like I've never had this. It's super crazy." So he actually recommended this diet to me. Okay. And dude, it was 3 days after starting this diet. I told myself, I was like, maybe this is a placebo effect. Maybe it's all in my head. Like, I'm on a new diet. My body's feeling great. I was like, at that point, I was like, I don't care if it's in my head or not. I'm feeling amazing. Well, a month later, all my joints have stopped hurting. My knees have stopped hurting. And my energy level is like through the roof. And I'm be 42 years old next month. And I feel like I'm 18 years old and I can run all day. I mean, my day right now is, I'm usually up at 5 a.m. every morning. I go to work all day and I do construction. So it's not an easy job. I do commercial HVAC, lifting heavy stuff all day.
Yeah.
I'll come home. As soon as I get out of the work truck, I go in the garage, I change, I do my workout. 2 hours later, I usually ride my bicycle 3.5 miles to the gym. Yeah. I train for 2 hours in jiu-jitsu, 2.5 hours, ride my bike back home. And then I go to bed, and then I do it all over again. I've been doing that now for the last 3 weeks, and I don't get tired. And the biggest thing for my wife is she was like, "I like this new you. You're always happy. You're always in a good mood. You're never angry." So, like, whether the diet's BS or not, it's working for me, and I feel great.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and I was listening, or I was reading some of the things that you sent to me and listening to some of the things you have said. And I'm looking forward to trying it, man, because I'm like, here's what I like. I like the fact that you're eating. You're eating real food, whole food. Yeah. You're eating red meat. You're eating fruits. You're getting that natural sugar from the fruits. You're getting the iron. You're getting that good kind of – dude, I was like this. Sometime when I get to heaven, right, I'm going to ask the Lord, why is a horse eat hay and oats? And they're built like a horse, right?
Yeah, but here's the crazy part. This is what's even crazier about that statement you just made.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a horse eat a chicken?
No, I haven't.
No, there's videos of horses eating chickens.
Oh, well, that's why they're sneaking some protein in there, bro. We just don't know it yet.
Like,
right?
I seen a video not too long ago. This horse, there was a baby chicken walking right by the horse. The horse bent down, picked it up, and ate the thing. Like, why it was alive. Like, ate.
That's what's happening to horses. When no one's looking, they're eating carnivore diet.
Farmers are like, dude, where's all my chickens going? The horses eating the baby chickens.
Yeah, it's not the wolves, it's not the foxes. The horses are like, yo, we need some protein. You're giving me oats and hay, right? So,
but you look at cattle, they eat grass.
Yeah.
So what made me get on this diet too was, I started thinking about nature in general. We're animals. Let's be real. We're animals in an animal kingdom.
Yep.
And lion, for instance, when he eats an animal, he eats nose to tail. Like when here's my analogy. When have you ever seen an obese deer in the wild? Never. You never seen a fat deer. The only fat deer you see or fat cattle you see is what we feed them.
That's right.
We're doing it to ourselves. So I wanted to change that. And I did. I changed it. Like I'm down, I think that last show I was at, I was 270 something. I'm down to like 255, 257 right now. And I'm stronger now than I was when I competed in your last show.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That was fun, man. I was thinking about that. Here's Joe Taylor, your upcoming opponent for October 22nd. He's got a comment there that says, "What's up, y'all?" And I don't know if you can see those, man, but I'm dropping these comments that people are watching here. Obviously, you and Marco had a great fight, man. I laughed and I said, dude, for two big men, you guys were moving like, 55ers. I was like, these dudes are all over the cage. They're moving. Now, there was one time you and Marco, I ain't gonna lie, man. There was one time you and Marco went hard into that cage panel, and I was like, oh man, the whole thing's coming down. Here we go. There's
somebody needs to tell Matt Brown he needs to tighten the bolts on that cage.
I was like, go, man, reinforce the whole system, dude.
Well, I didn't realize Marco was, I think he weighed in at so we didn't have to weigh in because we're both heavyweights. But I think Marco had a match the following weekend in PA. And I think online it said he weighed like 330. I was like, damn, I didn't realize Marco was 80 pounds heavier than me.
Yeah, Dude, I was in the deal. I was in the cage because it was EBI rules. So I was working as the referee, and I was like, bro, I picked the wrong fight, man. This is going to get out of hand. I'm going to be smashed. I'm a small guy compared to these dudes, right?
You know what I like about combat sports and jiu-jitsu in general is that no matter what happens, you can shake hands afterwards. Like
Yeah.
I told Joe and Marco, like I wasn't expecting to go against Joe, and I was actually going to go down to Jackson and help Marco and go help those boys out, get ready for upcoming competitions. And then Joe reached out to me and asked me if I'd be willing to take a match with him. I'm like, sure, but I'm not coming down to your gym until after this match is over.
That's right. Well, dude, here is Joe. Joe just chimed in right now. He says, looking forward to it, Jason. I've known him for 18 years. LOL, used to work with him. That's going to be fun, man. You guys are both, kind of big guys. That's going to be a lot of fun, man. And I can't wait. October 22nd is going to be a barn burner. And you're exactly right. It's like, well, I'm going to come down and train with you guys, but not till after October 22nd, right?
Yeah.
So those are great guys, dude. I love the One Academy guys, the Jackson guys. They've been on multiple cards that I've done now. This will be our 5th show coming up October 22nd. I think we've had a Jackson One Academy on every single one of them. Austin 5. They're good people, dude. Love those guys. And that's what I love about jiu-jitsu, Jason. Like you said, we can go in there and like try to manhandle and choke each other out. But at the end of the day, man, we're going to fist bump and it's just super cool. Totally different sometimes than MMA, right? That's not getting punched in the face is a lot cooler.
Dude, that's what I told who was it? Oh, it was my buddy Lance Phillips, who trains at Ronin.
Yeah.
Lance. Oh, yeah. He reached out to me and was like, "You back to doing jiu-jitsu?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the greatest thing ever. You just do jiu-jitsu and you're not getting punched in the face."
Yeah. Dude, you know what's wild though? I got to tell you this, man. So for the October 22nd card, I have over 300 athletes trying to get on that card, right? I am getting bombarded every day and my inbox is just blowing up, right? And out of that, I now have a ton of people saying, "Hey, are you ever going to do combat jiu-jitsu with open hand strikes?" Like, people want that smoke, bro. You got like, Jason, you got banana hands, bro. Your hands are like a pack of bananas, right?
I know.
People want that smoke. They want to do combat jiu-jitsu. And I'm like,
no, here's Dave. Okay, let's be real. Listen, people want to do combat jiu-jitsu until they get smacked in the face.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be
listen. There was a video that I just saw the other day that I had to show to the guys at Round Town because we did Donnie did like a little short MMA class one night and I was helping out with it. And I was telling my teammate, Brandon, he was starting to do inversions. It's like, bro, I will smack you in your face if you do inversions on me. It's not going to work in the real world. That's sport jiu-jitsu. The very next day, there was a video that came out. It was that guy that did an inversion, and he got smacked to sleep. Like, that's exactly what will happen.
Yes. I remember seeing that. And I was like, bro, yeah, you invert underneath, and that dude just comes down from 12 to 6, bro. Open hand smack, dude, you're still going to sleep. I think I may have seen you put someone to sleep with an open hand smack, but that's for another. Yeah. I ain't gonna talk about that, bro. We ain't gonna talk about.
I've had to do that 3 times.
I'm just gonna say, it might be one of my top 10 moments of like, what do they say? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. Well, he won. He's the grand prize winner, bro.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you one story, and I'll tell you because this guy deserves to be like. I wish I knew his name because I would call him out for real.
Yeah,
we were at the club and I was working, and he couldn't get in because he had the paper ID, but he didn't have the ID stamped. The dude turned into the biggest racist. He was a white dude. He kept calling my one guy the N-word. And then he called my other guy a Mexican wetback. And then he looked at me and he goes, "And F you too, you country bumpkin motherfucker." And I said, "Dude, you got to go home." He was like, "F you." And then he's in the alleyway looking at me and he goes like this, like, "Meet me in the alley." So I met him in the alley. I was like, "Bro, you need to go home." I'm like, "You need to leave. You need to go home."
Oh, man.
Well, then, not to mention names, but there was an establishment that works events with us.
Yeah.
That told the guy he had to leave. And then he told that person that he was going to beat my ass. And I'm lucky that the cops were there. He'd beat me up. Well, then the cops disappeared. And
yeah. They just went and did their job. They got a call.
Yeah.
Conveniently got a call. Oh, we got a call around the corner.
Well,
Yeah.
I told him. Then he had to look. Then what? The straw that broke the camel's back
Oh, yeah.
was he said, and I quote, "I'm gonna jerk off on your wife's face."
I remember.
And I said, slap. Went to sleep. And then this dude in the minivan, like the dude went completely limp for like 30 minutes. I thought I killed him.
I may or may not have been present on that campus. Maybe I wasn't. I might have been home sleeping, preparing to go to work. But
Well, here's the thing though. Like, if I ever had to put hands on somebody because of doing security and defending myself,
yeah,
I was always too worried about punching somebody because I know how hard I can punch, and I'm not trying to kill nobody.
right. Yeah, no.
But sometimes people just need to learn the hard way.
That's right. But they choose to learn the hard way. I say that all the time. Like, bro, I tell people all the time in situations that I may or may not be in my line of work, I'll say, hey, listen, dude, you are 100% in control. You're in control right now. I'm telling you, you're in control of the situation. And whatever choices you make, either going to be good or bad for you, right? And if they make bad choices, then whatever happens, happens. So, dude, that's great. So you and Joe, you guys have known for each other for a while, worked together in the past. That's cool. That's going to be a great showdown. Lots of fun. Like we said, we love those Jackson guys. One of the things that I'm really excited about, Jason, is the undercard of this. It's a 16-man tournament. The best 155 pounders in the world are going to show down for 10 grand, right?
No, dude, it's going to be exciting, bro.
Dude, the Crown Plaza North is going to be jumping. I've been up there. I've been to the venue multiple times. I'm a vision. Hey, we're going to have air conditioning this time, everybody. If you're watching the show, we will have air conditioning. You will not sweat to death. Let me make a couple comments about the venue. The venue is beautiful. It is in the Crown Plaza ballroom. It's 7,500 square foot. You're going to be on a 30 by 30 professional Dollar mat. Shout out to Dollar, my new partner. It's sick, man. You guys are going to break these mats in. No one's ever rolled on these mats. They're getting broken that night. If you're buying tickets, listen, do it fast. Buy your $55 tickets. That's the first 2 rows. I promise you, you're going to be up close and personal to the action. You might get sweat sprayed on you. You might have to catch an athlete. I'm telling you, if these dudes go out of bounds, they're in your lap, okay? So if you want the smoke as a fan, you want the first 2 rows because I'm putting you up close and personal. It's ADCC rule set, full pay-per-view. But listen, if you just want to get in the building, $35 for general admission. You will never see the level of athletes that you're going to see that night for $35. I promise you right now. They're the best in the world. And all those seats are super killer as well. So you want to spend the night? You want to come in, make it a weekend? All you got to do is call the Crown Plaza North and tell them you're with Twisted Church. They're going to give you $99 per night. It's a 5-star hotel, 5-star bar, 5-star restaurant, 5-star rooms. It's a killer place, man. I promise you. We are doing everything to make this the best experience for the athlete, for the art, and for the fan. And
nice.
Jason, you're going to be on it, man. I'm pumped about that.
Dude, I'm pumped too. It's going to be a good time. Joe and I will put on a good show.
Yeah.
It's for sure.
Dude, we got guys coming from so we have men and women coming from all over the country, dude. I don't want to announce it right now. I can't because I've been working with the team. There's a poster going to drop. There's some announcements, but I can just say this. How do I say it? I can't really say it, man. I want to say it, but I want to tell you this. There is a dynamic, high level.
Say it.
I can't do it. It's going to kill me. There's a high level female black belt match that's going to be just a barn burner, dude. It's going to be a barn burner. I'll just say this. One of them is coming from the West Coast. One of them lives on the East Coast. And it's going to be sick, right? And if you knew who they trained under, you'd be like, oh, my gosh, it's going to be sick. So
it's going to be like the jiu-jitsu match of like Tupac and Biggie.
Bro,
like East Coast versus West Coast.
There you go, man. I mean, you got to think about this, too. Listen, check this out. This is going down. Say the name, Twisted. I can't do it, Peter. I don't know who you are, Peter, but I'm not saying the name. No peer pressure here. So here's what I can tell you. this show is going down really 1 month after the ADCC, right? The ADCC, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's the Super Bowl of jiu-jitsu. It's the Olympics of jiu-jitsu. There's going to be some people win that, and here's what I know: there's some people on our card that are a threat to win an ADCC title.
Nice.
1 month later, they're going to be right here in Columbus. So, dude, do not delay, guys. You see the ticker at the bottom there, Eventbrite.com. Search Twisted
Get your tickets.
Get your tickets, dude. If you're supporting Jason, get your tickets. I want you to have good seats. We're gonna fill this room up. We're gonna
my people are buying tickets because you saw at the Matt Brown show,
bro.
Like I think 90% of the people there were either for One Academy or myself.
They weren't. One Academy comes out like an army, dude. I think you had like 30 people there. I was like, good Lord, man, we need like more seats and more seats. We need some better bathrooms there. Which, hey, listen, everyone, we're going back to Matt Brown's. I promise you. Listen, I am planning things 6, 9, 12, 18 months out. I'm telling you, I got a plan here. And it's all about the athlete and the art, right? So we are going back to Matt's. Matt and I have talked. We're going to do some sick things up at Matt Brown's in the cage. And those announcements are coming soon. But listen, I will tell you all now, I can't tell you exactly what. It's coming soon, probably this next week. If you're watching the show, catch it live, catch it later. Save the date. If you love jiu-jitsu, save the date, January 7th. I promise you. January 7th, I'm going to make an announcement this coming week, and you'll be able to get involved. It's going to be good. So, Jason, I like to ask everyone this last question before I cut them loose. We're like at 45, 46 minutes. So, brother, listen, if you could say something to anybody, life-related, jiu-jitsu-related, anything at all that would just, whether they catch it now or it's the internet, they're going to see it 6 years from now. Anything you could say to just inspire people, encourage people as they grapple with life, what would you say? What would be advice from Jason Riley here tonight?
So, there's a saying that I always say. I think I've said it for the last few years, and I even tell my kids, is stay humble, stay motivated, and if you have the ability to help somebody else in life, please do so.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. That's right, man. That's that stay humble, stay hungry, and serve, man. Like that's what I really find is, and even like social science has proven this. If you are looking for happiness, give happiness to someone else is how you find it, right? If you are what you're looking for, if you give that to someone else, you find it yourself. A lot of times this world teaches us to serve ourselves, right? Serving others is beautiful.
With what I just said to you, I'm a firm believer in just because somebody does you wrong doesn't mean you have to do it back to them.
Sure. That's right.
What you do for others says a lot about you. What they do to you says everything about them. So don't stoop to their level. Just be you. Be humble. Yeah. Do things the right way, and the right people will be in your life.
Yeah. And I'm sure we've all learned that lesson the hard way, right? At times in our life. A good friend of mine, a mentor, a guy that I look up to recently has told me, stay above the fray. Stay above the fray, and it's sometimes that's hard to do in this world, but we should aim to do that. Dude, listen, Jason, I could talk to you for hours about MMA, about jiu-jitsu, about life, about philosophy, athletics. But you and I are both working men. We're going to get up tomorrow between the ripe hour of 4:30 and 5 a.m. We're going to go get it in. Tomorrow's a rest day for me, man. I trained hard today. I'm going to rest, and then I'm pretty pumped, man. I'm competing on Sunday.
Do your thing on Sunday, brother. I wish you nothing but love.
Man,
I actually know the guy that you're competing against. I worked with him at Walmart when I was working there with Joe.
Yeah.
They're both great dudes, and I wish you both the best.
Great dudes, man. Great human beings. I love the fact that we can be great dudes and try to just hurt each other.
Destroy one another.
Yeah, let's go, bro. But I've done the work, man. Like I said earlier when I was telling you, like this is mentally, emotionally, physically, this is the best I've ever felt going into a competition in a long time. My body feels good. My mind feels good.
Dude, that's another thing on that diet. Real quick before we get off of here, is my mental clarity is on a whole nother level.
Dude, I love it. I love it, man. Well, I can't wait. I'm gonna start it Monday, man. Like for real. I got the the text message saved, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to eat that red meat. So I like it because it was eating real
simple.
Food. Oh, it is simple. I read what you sent me, and I was like, bro, I can do that. I like that food anyways, right? Like if there's a plate of cookies and brownies or a plate of fruits and vegetables, my taste buds prefer the fruits and vegetables. You know what I mean? So it makes it.
I don't even eat veggies.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I do like veggies, man. I like cucumbers and broccoli. So, brother, listen, you have a great night. Enjoy your day, brother. Keep training hard, man. I'll talk to you real soon. And thank you so much, man. October 22nd, it's going down. If you watch the show tonight and you're out there, listen to these stories. Be inspired by others. And then use your story to inspire others. Grappling with life is a real deal. We're all doing it, right? I don't care if you ever do jiu-jitsu or martial arts or MMA. What I care about is that you will hear these stories, be inspired, and then know that your story of overcoming and grappling with life until you're victorious is going to inspire others, right? Don't quit on yourself, right? Do the hard thing. Don't make excuses. Get up and get it done. And that's what we got to do, man. We're better together. So let's keep grinding. You dig it? All right, man.
Later,
God bless you guys. We'll talk to you real soon. Thanks again.
Later, boss.
You bet. See you, man. Peace.